Welcome to the StockMinute.com here in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock minter, Brian Johnson. And a pullback again in the market. So, markets up, down. Are they up? Are they down? Are they? Well, I'd pick a day. It was down again today. You can see by the charts in front of us that all we're seeing is a lot of this choppy consolidation, even after we broke out of the symmetrical triangle that we had kind of been in for a while. We are now out. We were out of that formation yesterday. We're back in it today. Quite honestly, we're not in that formation anymore. I'll put in some ideas for you this weekend. But what we're seeing now is just that choppy sideways consolidation that I talked about even last week, this last Sunday, Monday. Talked to you about the fact that I was really expecting some consolidation, some choppiness in the markets. I didn't know it would go all week long. I figured we'd see a break before the end of the week. We did not. Everything is still moving sideways right in through here. Big move to the downside. And as I said, I loved what I saw from the bears last week. They actually managed to move the markets 50 points, even though by the end of the week it was back up again. But let me show you now that over the course of this week, we didn't go anywhere. Basically flat. So while the bulls didn't make any ground, the bears didn't necessarily give up any ground. Still very neutral here in the markets. Based on the information here, guys, we're still waiting for moves one way or the other. Nothing's been confirmed yet. We never got back above 12,300 or some of these upper levels whatsoever, even from the start of the day. Headed straight back down. The move took about 2-3 hours, and then at that point, of course, we saw the little end of day bump. But it's still overall we can contain price right between this level here. It's all sideways choppy action from the markets, really looking at it. Messing around with the 20-day. I don't have any interest in the 20-day. Have it now for a few days. It doesn't really make a difference. But you can see the battle going on here. Below it, above it, below it, above it, and now once again, yet below it one more time and closing below it for the 1, 2, 3, about 4 closes now over the last couple weeks, 5 closes. Not bad for the bears. I mean, they're doing a good job. They're not gaining any ground, but they're not giving up any ground. So, as I said, that's really a pretty good job so far by the Bears to be able to hold on to most of what they gained last week. All right, NASDAQ 60-minute now. It's still on its way back up again, showing a little different idea of things outside of the Dow. This one's not quite as, I would say, pretty as the Dow is right now. A little bit more bullish, but overall the consolidation continues. You can see here where we're just chopping sideways. The bears made their big move to the downside. The bulls, of course, brought it right back up with this little double bottom looking formation here. They bring it up, they retest, kind of put in a double top before the move back down, and now here we are again. It's just chopping sideways, guys. Most of what the week was worth. Now, let me tell you, from a day trader's perspective, yeah, not bad. We've had some opportunities to make some money day trading. Swing trader's position, no, this is not a good week to be a swing trader. You might have been in and out of your positions quite a bit. Here on the daily, you can see that above, below, we did hold the 50 during the course of the week, and by the end of it, we did hold the 20 as well. So, as I said, a little bit more bullish on the NASDAQ, but ever so slightly. I still am very, very neutral on these markets. I have no real bias one way or the other right now. Still waiting for the charts to give me that move, and they have not necessarily given me anything of the sort yet. So I'm going to look these over this weekend, but I think there's some interesting things coming into and that we need to be watching for early next week. I really think that we will see something happen here early next week. Give us our move one way or the other. Weekly perspective here, you can see 2 very similar looking candles week to week, back to back. So the bears didn't move it anywhere, the bulls didn't move it anywhere. There's nothing to glean from this. I mean, it's good that the bulls are able to keep it up, and quite honestly, there's nothing broken from a bull side yet on a weekly. It's still holding up extremely well. We are seeing the participation kind of fall out of the markets the last few weeks, but that it isn't of big or great consequence, considering that we're coming into the February March time frame. So it's not a big deal at this point. But you can see that we're just nothing but choppy sideways action at the end of these weeks. We're just not going anywhere. Overall, that is good for the bulls in the bigger time frames. But we're going to start looking at some of those smaller time frames here this weekend and see if we can't find some levels to really watch for our breaks up and down. SPX 60 minute doing that same type of thing, just wandering sideways. You can see push down, move back up, push down, and now here we go again. Yesterday we break that symmetrical triangle, only to come back now today and revisit what? Lower support. Look how well this 200 has held. There were multiple attempts to get below it too, and it would not give up ground. Did a fantastic job, the Bulls did, of holding this thing above the 200 before it finally found some legs at the end of the day. Overall, though, here we are again, end of the week, and not really having gone anywhere when all the chips are thrown out on the table and it's all added up. We're really just kind of break even right now. No breaks above those higher levels, no breaks below those lower levels. We did close below the 20-day today, but you can see that this thing has just been the mark for the Bears and the Bulls. They've absolutely traced it the last few days. And there's just no decision yet. The markets are they're coiling up. That's what they're doing. They're just coiling up for a larger move one way or the other. I'll give you those levels this weekend. Okay, VIX on a daily. Back above this level, getting right to and basically at the 19. I wanted it to be at the 19 or 20-ish level. And same thing on the weekly. Two closes above this blue. In or around that 20 level, 19 to 20 level, guys, I got to be a little bit more bearish when it comes to the VIX and its outlook. Let's see if that doesn't amount to something coming into next week. Once again, more fodder for this weekend's video. Apple was up ever so slightly, 44 cents. You can see the gap and little run up here, getting into these overhead levels of 360, which was one of my calls to you for overhead resistance. 360 holding very well and actually closed right at it by the end of the day. Never breaking these lower levels. This was a tough trade today only because, once we got above the 355, 356-ish level, which we talked about on a gap in the morning, it's always more difficult to find your entry. So if you know what you're doing here on a day trading perspective, you could have snuck your way in for a couple dollars straight on Apple. But overall, after that first couple hours were gone, this thing was basically straight sideways after that point, just dancing around. Daily as well, you can see the small little candle being put in here, staying above that 20-day moving average and staying up above and in that 360 area. That's a pretty this is a strong area here for Apple of overhead resistance. Really looking for now those pushes back above that 362, 363 could get us back into and close to the 365 mark. That'll be something we watch next week. And on the weekly, look, we did it. We closed on above this little blue line we've been watching. Will it suffer the same fate it has the last times it's done it? Close above it, down. Close above it, end up down. Close above it, end up down again. This third time a charm? We'll have to wait and see. Certainly something we want to watch coming into next week because we were right back up towards this 365 highs. And for the week, Apple up 11, almost $12. Still an extremely strong stock. FAS putting in what I think is just an absolutely gorgeous symmetrical triangle here. This is about as textbook as it gets. If you want to cut and paste something for your scrapbook, this would be the one. I really like what I'm seeing here. FAZ, same thing. Very, very pretty in their formation. So obviously seeing a little bit of the same things in both formations. I like that. Now we're just waiting and looking for moves one way or the other. From the daily, you can see resting between the 20 and the 50. And for me, that's really been kind of my overall entries. Below the 50 and above the 20. It'll probably hold true coming into early next week. I'm going to draw in some extra lines for you so you can see that a little bit more clearly. once we get into next week. So here it is on the FAZ, same type of thing, just a gorgeous symmetrical triangle forming here. I love this. This is something I could cut and paste into my mentoring class for formations. Really like what I'm seeing here. Waiting for that break. Nothing's really going to change. Nothing has changed. Looking at the daily, you can see we're right back now. Interesting to note that this thin blue line, which was kind of being chopped back and forth for a while, held yesterday as support and then launched from there today and held again as support. So this thin blue line now working very well as lower support as we consolidate and prepare for a move. I am still liking this thing above the 50-day moving average and then ultimately above that upper blue line. But you can see for the week, what are the financials doing? Look at that stupid little consolidation. They love to do this, and they are very, very adept at moving sideways for long periods of time and burning up weeks with no moves whatsoever. This one was a little bit more volatile from a daily standpoint, but if you're a swing trader and have been holding this thing long for a while, you really went nowhere today. By the time you open the week and close the week, you pretty much break even. Not really getting anywhere. Coiling up, guys, waiting for the break. I can see it coming. So I'll give you some levels to watch in this weekend's video. I want you guys to enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you again on Sunday afternoon. Bye.